everybody, what's going on? Thanks for watching today. Week 10 is over, and that means we have our sights on Week 11. On Mondays, I like to talk about the waiver wire, but we don't just want to show you waiver ads and a list. I will do that. Also want to show you some film on some dudes who you might be thinking about adding. Let's get to it. First up, let's show you some popularly owned players. That ownership percentage there is in Yahoo leagues. But, you know, if these dudes are available in your league, don't apologize. Shallower leagues, also fun. I would probably put Courtland Sutton higher than all these running backs, but I'm including a bunch of running backs here because, let's face it, that's the scarce position where some folks are hurting in fantasy football in 2018. Royce Freeman might be more difficult to start than these other guys in Week 11 because we're not sure that his high ankle sprain is fixed up after Denver's bye, and I don't know if I think he's as good a player as Philip Lindsay, but he could get a chance in the season's second half, maybe a little bit more of a long-term solution. Mike Davis played a lot Sunday. He'll probably keep playing a lot if Chris Carson is out, and Doug Martin and Ito Smith are regular mainstays on our shallower league list. Well, winter is basically here. If you've been thinking you could use a nice pair of boots, I can personally recommend Thursday boots because these are my Thursday boots. I love them. I've had these for more than 3 years. I just picked them up from right over there because I wear them 3 or 4 times a week, but they've held up incredibly well. The durability of a work boot, but you can see they have style, the style of a fashion boot. They're made in the same American factories that make your father and grandfather's favorite brands, but they're not stodgy. They're very nice, and they start at just $149, which is kind of crazy with free shipping and free returns. Click on the link in the show notes. That'll take you over to Thursday Boots, and we really do love them. We recommend them, and thanks to Thursday Boots for sponsoring today. Okay, back at it with waiver ads who are likelier to be available in more leagues. I've got 3 names on here who I've done film work on recently. On this list, last week, Josh Adams, I showed you some of his stuff. He went for 7 carries and 47 yards Sunday night against the Cowboys. Doug Peterson says he'll be more involved going forward. Coaches sometimes lie, but as a Latavius Murray-style player, I mean, go back and watch last week's waiver show. There's potential appeal. Rashaad Penny, I did a film session on this past Thursday. I hope you checked out that one. He had 2 long runs on Sunday. I said it on Thursday. I see exceptional lateral quickness. He was a little less hesitant north-south on Sunday, but he's also got Chris Carson and Mike Davis around. And Keke Coutee, I reviewed his game filled a couple weeks ago on the waiver show, and he hasn't played since then. It's still valid. Here's hoping his hamstring got happier during Houston's bye. Okay, so the reason Josh Reynolds looks like the #1 waiver ad in advance of Week 11 is that this happened. Cooper Kupp in Sunday's game against Seattle, a non-contact injury in the 4th quarter. It's been confirmed Kupp has a torn ACL. Terrible news for a kid who's taken advantage of a great Rams offense and reliable open space to be a real weapon out of the slot. So, I'm asking myself, is there reason to suspect Josh Reynolds can play? Well, here he's lined up wide right, and this is largely what we'll see from Reynolds. He doesn't do anything amazing to get open. He bends his route, and Jared Goff has a clean pocket, and it's a zone concept, and the safety closes in on him, and he takes a hit and hangs on. I guess what I'm most interested in looking at as we dig into the Josh Reynolds tape is, being the third body in that Rams attack is already worth something. Do we see anything else? Anything other than from being a body from Josh Reynolds? I'm pretty sure this is the very next play. Reynolds once again wide right, and at the snap, congratulations, 2 Seahawks defenders smash into each other. That's a fun way to get open in the NFL. I'm not going to say that because 2 defenders ran into each other, that means Reynolds can't get open or that he's bad. I'm going to keep looking at this film. I mean, the usage is low. We are guessing. He's wide right here again. You can see some nice burst when he gets out of his break. The 49er defender here buys Reynolds' hesitation move, and he decelerates to cut off something short, and Reynolds hits the gas and goes, catches a ball that's thrown behind him, nearly scores. Reynolds is a second-year player, 6'3", not killer speed, not killer quickness, but not lacking in either quality. 2 games, Kupp missed time with an injury earlier this year. Reynolds had 4 catches combined. But here was one of them, in a spot where the Rams needed it, end of the half against the Packers. You can see coming out of the break, he's not sluggish, maybe not quite as crisp as Kupp, but we will take the touchdown. And he also scored on this one, a deeper in cut, once again against zone, which defenses are going to play against the Rams. They have a lot of scary offensive weapons to be playing a ton of man against, and Reynolds takes advantage. As for ball skills, Reynolds has 12 targets on the year. He had 24 targets last year. He has 18 career catches. I don't really know. Maybe this is a drop against the Seahawks. The defender's right there. I think it hits one of Reynolds' hands, right? I'm not going to say he should have caught this and this is a drop or a terrible play or anything. I'm just going to say, hands-wise, we don't know enough yet. And that would sort of be the point, right? It's a lot of unknowns. I think we're adding Reynolds the same way we would add a running back who suddenly inherited the goal line job for the Patriots. I hope you're a good player, but I've got enough faith in the role that I think I probably want to add you, and that's probably the basis on which I want to add Reynolds. Now, I will say, I don't think we're probably looking at an exact one-to-one relationship between Kupp's role and Reynolds' role. And in fact, in those couple of games that Kupp missed, more of the time, we saw Robert Woods move to the slot and run the Kupp-style roles, and Reynolds play more on the outside and run the outside-type roles. Now, that's not always true, and with the Rams, it's really not always true. They'll use anybody doing anything. They've given reverses at this point to Reynolds. They like him with the ball in his hands. I'll say the role is valuable enough, and he's shown enough that I'm to the point where I go, okay, why can't Josh Reynolds join that big, giant, annoying group of wide receiver threes out there and maybe have room to do more? I'm certainly not going to rank him anywhere near where I would have been ranking Kupp, but he's got upward mobility that a lot of those wide receiver threes do not have. All right, speaking of the big group of wide receiver threes, let's talk about Anthony Miller, the rookie receiver from the Bears. So, okay, why are we talking about Anthony Miller at all? It's because he just went for 122 yards and a touchdown against the Lions Sunday. But yeah, we probably should watch film and give context because, I don't know, that's not very good defense. That would be what we would call a complete coverage breakdown, followed by Glover Quinn not tackling somebody. You'll take the touchdown. Not sure what it tells you about Anthony Miller as a player. And this one on Sunday for 55 yards, that's illegal contact on the defender, and good for Miller for not falling down when the guy covering him does. But again, I'm not going to get out the anointing oil for Miller or Mitch Trubisky when the pitch and catch is this easy, he's this wide open. Now, that said, absolutely, there are definite reasons to be interested in Anthony Miller. For instance, I love how hard he runs this route, and then how suddenly he's able to decelerate for the comebacker. Hands catch, fight off the defender, Phillip Gaines, who admittedly got released after this game by the Bills. But what you're seeing here is that Miller knows where to go. I think that's what we're seeing. When he runs routes, he's very quick. He's quicker than fast, but he gets open. And he's in the slot about 3/4 of the time. Here, he's slot right. I just wanted to show you his quickness in the scramble drill. This isn't even a completion because, as happens often, until this week when Mitch Trubisky played a lot better, but you get some overthrows from Trubisky. But as you'll see with Miller, the quickness makes him a hard guy to stay with. For instance, check this one out. If it reminds you of the kind of separation my favorite player, Keenan Allen, gets, yeah, he split widest left in a bunch, and it's a zone that kind of turns into man because of the offensive alignment. So number 36 there for the Seahawks, well, he's got Miller. And if you look at the top of that route, look at the springiness that Anthony Miller has. That's instant separation. And this touchdown, this is, maybe it's going to wind up being an ill-advised throw. The defender is standing right there. But we will take the ball skills from Miller to see that it's coming and to stop and kind of let the defender sort of run past him. Now, coming into the league, as much as I liked Miller as a prospect, what was something you consistently heard about Anthony Miller? Concentration drops. This one goes through his hands, week 1 against the Packers. Make this catch at the end of the game, you might win it. You might score a touchdown and salt it away. It's thrown hard, but it kind of does go right through his hands. Bunch formation, throw him a wideout screen, oops, clang off the hands. And even this past Sunday, yeah, a defender is right there with him, but it hits his pads and kind of misses one of his hands and bounces out. This is not a reason not to add him, but he carries the reputation for drops and concentration issues, so we'll keep an eye. So Miller hasn't topped 5 catches in a game yet, and until this week had not topped 50 yards receiving in a game. So we can't get carried away. But so for example, I was talking about Taylor Gabriel during the waiver segment 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, and he has vanished. So there may not be an absolute role, especially when Allen Robinson's healthy. Allen Robinson scores twice on Sunday. I can't promise you anything when it comes to Miller, especially because Trubisky played really, really well. The best game he's played this year against the Lions, no question. But if he regresses, if those overthrows and mechanics problems that I've shown you on the YouTube channel in the past continue, it could be tough in general for an ancillary receiver to have a lot of effect. But, I mean, if I'm going to compare how I feel about Miller as a prospect to how I feel about Taylor Gabriel, Gabriel is all deep speed and tiny and not all that great a route runner. And Miller, as we've seen, really is a good route runner. I think Miller and Reynolds both find themselves in situations where they're instantly launched into the wide receiver 3, the many, many wide receiver 3 category with the upside for more. And as such, I think they are 2 of the better waiver adds you could make for Week 11. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button, write a comment, tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on, and of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.